to Deep Sleep Stories. Thank you to everyone who's been listening. If these stories help you relax or fall asleep, a short review, comment, or sharing the podcast with someone who might benefit is a simple and meaningful way to support the show so that we may continue to offer it for free. Now, take a slow, gentle breath and let's begin tonight's story.
Welcome to Deep Sleep Stories, a quiet little place where the day can gently fade away, and where tonight, a soft and patient breeze will wander through fields of wildflowers just to keep you company as you drift toward sleep. Take a moment to settle in. Let your body find the most comfortable position it can. If it feels right, allow your eyes to soften and close, or simply grow heavy and half-lidded. Let your hands rest loosely, your jaw unclench, your shoulders melt down and away from your ears. Draw in a long, slow breath, as if you were breathing in the cool air of a peaceful evening. Feel the inhale as a gentle wave rising inside your chest, lifting and expanding. Then let it go, easy and unhurried, like a small sigh that knows it is safe to be heard. Again, take a slow breath in and imagine it carrying away any lingering thoughts of the day. All the to-do lists, all the conversations, all the small concerns that try to follow you into this moment. Let them drift to the edges of your awareness like clouds sliding quietly out of view. As you breathe, picture yourself arriving at the edge of a wide, open meadow. The sun is low, the sky washed in soft currents of pink and gold. A gentle breeze is moving across the sea of wildflowers, bending them in slow, graceful waves. You can smell earth and petals, and the faint coolness that hints at coming starlight. With each breath, feel yourself stepping a little deeper into this landscape, leaving the demands of the day behind. In this meadow, there is no hurry, no urgency, nothing that needs to be fixed or solved. There is only the breeze, the flowers, and the soft turning of evening into night. Somewhere in this quiet world, beneath the same pastel sky, a story is unfolding. In the heart of the meadow, where the wildflowers grow the tallest and the breeze likes to linger, there is a gentle valley that most maps have forgotten. The land dips like a shallow bowl, cradling a tapestry of blooming color that seems to have grown from dreams themselves. Here, the wildflowers are many and varied. Pale blue blossoms that look like pieces of sky fallen to earth, tiny white stars scattered low to the ground, tall stems crowned with golden petals, swaying as though listening to a song only they can hear. Purples so deep they seem to hold a secret, and roses blushed with the last light of day. Above them, the breeze moves with an almost thoughtful care. It travels softly over each patch of color, curling around stems and brushing lightly against petals. Never in a rush, never too strong. It carries the scent of warm soil and green leaves, of pollen and dew and the faint sweetness of nectar. And as it moves, it gathers whispers of every flower it touches, weaving them together into an invisible, ever-changing melody. At the edge of this valley stands a small cottage with walls of pale stone and a roof of weathered wooden shingles. Vines climb its sides in gentle spirals dotted with tiny blossoms that lean toward the light. The windows glow with a soft amber warmth, and the door, painted a deep, calm green, rests slightly ajar, as if always ready to welcome the evening in. Inside the cottage lives a quiet soul named Ellen. Ellen is neither young nor old, and the years sit on their shoulders with the lightness of someone who has learned to move with the world rather than against it. Their hair is a soft, wind-tumbled color, like dried wild grasses, and their eyes hold the kind of stillness that comes from watching many sunrises and many starlit nights. Ellen tends the Wildflower Meadow, though the flowers have grown here longer than anyone remembers and need little help to thrive. Their care is more of a conversation than a task. Each morning, Ellen walks the winding paths that thread through the blossoms, touching leaves, checking soil, murmuring thanks and small observations. The flowers seem to lean toward this gentle attention, as if responding to something familiar and kind. On this particular evening, the air is especially calm. The sun hangs low like a lantern, resting on the horizon, and the sky is brushed with wide strokes of rose and lavender. A thin crescent moon is already faintly visible, waiting patiently for its time to shine. Ellen steps out of the cottage and pauses on the stone threshold. They breathe deeply, feeling the soft air fill their lungs, and listen to the hush of the meadow. There is no clamor here, no harsh sounds, only the subtle rustle of leaves and the faraway murmur of a hidden stream. The breeze, sensing that Ellen has come outside, drifts closer. It curls around their ankles, slips through the loose fabric of their clothing, and tugs playfully at a strand of hair. Ellen smiles and lifts a hand as if greeting an old friend. Together, the caretaker and the breeze begin a slow walk along the familiar path. The path is narrow and winding, bordered on both sides by wildflowers that lean inward like curious listeners. Ellen's footsteps are soft, their pace unhurried. The breeze moves with them, trailing ahead, then circling back, weaving between stems and petals. As they walk, the breeze remembers. It remembers the heat of midday, when it had moved higher in the sky, carrying the buzzing hum of bees from blossom to blossom. It remembers the cool hush of morning, when dew clung to every leaf and the flowers opened their faces to greet the first light. It remembers nights when it had whispered through the meadow, while the stars kept silent watch above. Tonight the breeze is especially gentle. It glides over the field, stirring just enough to set the blossoms swaying, like a great floral ocean rocking itself toward rest. Each flower bends and rises in slow rhythm, releasing tiny threads of fragrance that drift into the air. The scent is a soft, layered sweetness, never too strong, always inviting. Ellen pauses beside a cluster of pale blue flowers that glow softly in the fading light. They kneel, careful not to disturb the delicate stems, and brush their fingers over the petals. The blooms are cool and velvety, like lightly chilled silk. The breeze sweeps in close, as if to see what has captured Ellen's attention, and the petals shiver in its passing. "These ones have opened a little wider today," Ellen says quietly, as though confiding in the evening itself. "They must have liked the warmth." The breeze responds not with words, but with a soft, spiraling motion, swirling around the flowers and lifting their scent into the air. It carries that scent onward, threading it through the meadow, sharing it with distant blossoms and grasses. The path bends gently, leading toward the hollow in the center of the valley. Here the ground slopes inward, forming a natural bowl where the wildflowers grow thickest of all. Ellen loves this place, for it feels like the meadow's heart, a place where the world seems to pause and listen to itself. They reach the edge of the hollow and stand quietly, looking out over the waves of color. The breeze flows past them, sweeping down into the bowl, setting the entire hollow to a gentle, rippling motion. It is as though the flowers are breathing together, inhaling and exhaling in a unified, silent rhythm. Ellen steps down carefully, following the worn curve of the path. Pebbles crunch softly beneath their boots, and the surrounding petals brush against their legs with feather-light touches. The breeze wraps itself around their shoulders like a shawl and continues its wandering journey, never still, never forceful. At the hollow's center lies a large, flat stone worn smooth by time and weather. Ellen has visited this stone for as long as they can remember, using it as a place to sit, to rest, to watch the sky change colors. Tonight they lower themselves onto the stone's cool surface, drawing their legs up and folding their hands loosely in their lap. The breeze settles around them in a sort of embrace. It curls behind their neck, brushes gently against their cheeks, and tugs at the ends of their sleeves. Around them, the wildflowers sway and dip, their subtle movement like the softest, most patient kind of music. Ellen closes their eyes. Their breaths grow longer and slower, matching the gentle rhythm of the meadow. Each inhale seems to draw in the scents and sounds of this place. Each exhale sends a little piece of tension away, released into the quiet air. Above, the sky deepens, the soft colors fading into dusky blue. One by one, stars begin to appear, scattered like tiny lanterns across the vast dome of night. The crescent moon grows brighter, its pale curve reflected faintly in the sheen of petals and the glimmer of dewdrops beginning to form. The breeze rises slightly, gathering a touch more coolness from the darkening sky. It glides over the surface of the stone, over Ellen's shoulders, over the sway of flowers, and into the open air beyond the valley. For a moment, it stretches itself wide, tasting the distant scents of forest and hill, of quiet ponds and sleeping villages. It could travel far, this breeze. It could race through valleys, and climb high into mountain passes, could rush across rivers and circle old towers. But night after night, it chooses to return to this meadow, to this small valley where wildflowers dream. And the solitary caretaker listens. Tonight, as stars gather and the hush of the world deepens, the breeze makes a decision. It will move even more gently than usual. It will become as soft as a whisper, as light as a sigh. A presence barely felt and yet fully there. It begins by slowing itself, easing each motion until it is not so much a wind as a caress. The flowers respond at once, their swaying becoming subtler, their stems bending only slightly. Petals shiver faintly as though touched by an affectionate hand. Ellen feels it too, a tender coolness brushing across their forehead, smoothing away the last lines of the day. Their thoughts, which had once moved like restless birds from one branch to another, gradually quiet. A feeling of spaciousness opens within them like a clear, starlit sky. Night deepens. The tones of color in the meadow grow softer, more muted. The wildflowers, so bright and lively under the sun, now seem to be wrapped in a gentle, velvety darkness, outlined by the faint glow of starlight. Here and there, a petal catches the moon's pale light and gleams briefly, like a tiny sleeping candle. The breeze moves on, a patient guardian drifting above the blossoms. It slips through clusters of tall golden flowers whose pollen smells warm and rich. It curves around a patch of purple blooms that seem almost black beneath the stars, their scent deeper and more mysterious now that the sun is gone. It grazes over low beds of white blossoms, so luminous they seem to hold a piece of the moon's light within their petals. Each time the breeze passes through a new patch of flowers, it gathers something subtle, a hint of fragrance, a whisper of memory, a faint echo of the day's warmth that still lingers in the soil. It carries these delicate impressions with it, like tiny, invisible lanterns. The more it travels, the softer and fuller it feels, as if it is weaving a blanket made of scents and sensations to lay gently across the sleeping meadow. In the cottage at the edge of the valley, a window remains open. Curtains stir faintly, breathing in and out with the movement of air. Inside, the small room glows with the last embers of a fading fire. A simple bed waits under a woven quilt, its colors inspired by the wildflowers outside. Ellen will return there soon, but for now they remain on the stone in the hollow. A quiet figure, outlined against the soft darkness. Their breathing is slow and even, matching the unhurried pulse of the night. The breeze brushes past their cheek and decides it is time. Slowly, tenderly, it begins to guide Ellen toward rest. It nudges at the edges of their awareness, wrapping them in the familiar sense of wildflowers and earth. It carries the soft sounds of the meadow to them, the distant ripple of the hidden stream, the faint rustle of leaves, the delicate brushing of petals against one another. Ellen's eyelids feel heavier. Thoughts grow softer, less insistent, dissolving into images of color and light. The memory of the day blurs and fades like footprints being smoothed away by water. What remains is only the present moment, the feel of stone beneath the body, the caress of air on skin, the gentle rise and fall of each breath. After a time, Ellen opens their eyes and looks up. The sky above is now fully dark, a vast, star-filled dome. The stars are not cold or distant here. They shimmer with a quiet warmth, like watchful friends scattered across the heavens. The crescent moon hangs low, its silver light washing the meadow in a soft sheen. Slowly, with the same unhurried care they give to every part of their life here, Ellen rises from the stone. The breeze supports them, curling lightly around their back, guiding them to stand. They stretch, feeling their muscles lengthen and relax, and for a moment, simply stand, listening. Around them, the meadow whispers in the night. The flowers, though rooted in place, seem to breathe in time with the turning of the sky. The air is cool, but not cold. The kind of temperature that invites blankets and candlelight, that welcomes rest. With one last look at the hollow, Ellen turns and begins the walk, back along the winding path. Each step is soft, measured. The wildflowers lean in as they pass, brushing against their legs like affectionate cats. The breeze follows, not hurried, slipping ahead to open the way, then circling back to linger at their shoulders. By the time Ellen reaches the cottage, the night has settled fully around the valley. The distant sounds of the world beyond the meadow grow faint and indistinct. Owl calls drift from some far-off tree, and somewhere, a small creature rustles through the undergrowth before finding its own place to rest. At the doorway, Ellen pauses to look back. The meadow stretches out before them, a dark, gently shifting sea. Moonlight glints off petals and leaves, creating a soft scattering of silver across the field. The breeze sweeps slowly over it all, smoothing, soothing, touching each flower with quiet reassurance. Ellen smiles, a small content curve of the lips that belongs only to the night. They step inside, leaving the door slightly open so the breeze can pass through if it wishes. The interior of the cottage is a temple of stillness. Shelves line the walls, holding jars of dried petals and leaves, small stones collected from streams, and candles that smell faintly of beeswax and herbs. The fire in the hearth has burned low, embers glowing like sleepy eyes, half closed. Ellen moves slowly, mindful of the quiet. They pour a small cup of cool water, sip it, then set the cup aside. They extinguish the last candle, leaving only the tender glow from the embers and the silver wash of moonlight slipping through the open window. The breeze follows them in, softer now than ever. It slides across the wooden floor, nestles into corners, brushes over shelves. It lifts the edge of the quilt on the bed as though inspecting it, and then lets it fall again with a tiny sigh of contentment. Ellen sits on the bed's edge, then lies down, stretching out beneath the quilt. The mattress is familiar and welcoming, embracing the curve of their body. Fabric cools briefly against their skin, then warms as their body relaxes. The breeze moves closer, drifting above them like a protective veil. It carries with it the scent of the meadow of flowers, closing their petals for the night of damp earth, ready to rest until dawn. It is as though the entire valley has followed Ellen indoors, wrapping them in a memory of open sky and swaying blossoms. Ellen's breathing deepens. Inhale, slow and gentle. Exhale, softer still. With each breath, their muscles loosen. Their shoulders sink into the bed. Their hands grow heavy and still. Their face smooths, any tiny lines of worry melting away in the quiet. Thoughts come and go with less and less urgency, like leaves drifting on a slow-moving stream, carried away by the current of sleep. The breeze, almost weightless now, begins to move in delicate patterns above them. It traces invisible circles and spirals as if drawing a lullaby in the air. It touches Ellen's brow, cooling it, moves down to their chest, matching the rhythm of their breathing, skims along their legs, relaxing them further into the mattress. Outside, the wildflowers sway faintly, even in this near still air, as if responding to some shared dream. Petals fall slowly here and there, drifting onto the dark soil with barely a sound. Dew gathers on leaves and stems, tiny droplets forming and holding the reflections of starlight. The valley is wrapped in a deep calm now, a calm so complete it feels like a soft blanket stretching from hill to hill. The breeze curls through it all, unhurried and free, yet devoted to this one place, this one quiet night. As the hours slide by, the world beyond the meadow grows more distant, more vague, as though it belongs to another time entirely. Here, time itself seems to slow, each moment drawn out into a long, peaceful exhale. Ellen drifts along that exhale, sinking gently into layers of rest. Their breathing is steady and quiet. Their body is warm and safe beneath the quilt. Their mind is no longer caught in thoughts of yesterday or tomorrow. It floats instead through images of moonlit petals and soft grass, of stars seen through the gentle blur of half-sleep. The breeze watches over them, if watching is what can be said of a presence without eyes. It listens to their breath, to the faint patter of dew forming outside, to the rustle of night creatures settling into their secret places. It gathers all these tiny sounds and spreads them thinly through the air so that the night feels full and yet perfectly calm. In this valley, in this moment, there is nowhere that needs to be reached, nothing that needs to be done. There is only the quiet companionship of wind and flower, earth and starlight, caretaker and bed. As the night walks slowly onward, the breeze grows even softer. Its movements become smaller, subtler, until they are almost impossible to notice. It no longer needs to circle and swirl. Instead, it rests, hovering like a gentle intention, like a promise of peaceful hours. Every part of the meadow sinks deeper into its own kind of sleep. Roots relax in the cool soil. Stems loosen their hold on the day's posture. Petals curl inward, cradling the lingering warmth of sunlight that still lives in memory. Above them, the stars turn in their immense and silent dance, and the crescent moon keeps watch, its silver light dimming as it glides slowly across the sky. Inside the cottage, Ellen lies unmoving, wrapped in dream. Perhaps they dream of walking the meadow at dawn, of seeing the first rays of sun spill over the flowers. Perhaps they dream of the breeze itself, a gentle companion with no face, only touch. Or perhaps their sleep is so deep and nourishing that there are no clear images at all, only the feeling of floating on a wide, calm sea of rest. The breeze lingers near, a patient guardian of this quiet slumber. It has carried the scents and whispers of the meadow. It has guided petals, soothed stems, and now it soothes the sleeping mind. It knows without words that its work tonight is simply to be gentle, to be present, to move so softly that it is almost indistinguishable from stillness. And so, even as time passes and the stars change their places, the feeling of this night remains the same, slow, tender, profoundly peaceful. Now, somewhere between Ellen's dreams and the hush of the valley, the world becomes very simple. There is only the rise and fall of breath. There is only the sensation of being held by the bed, by the air, by the deep, quiet earth below. The breeze settles a little more. Its motions turn to the smallest of sighs, the lightest of touches, barely enough to stir a single hair. The meadow rests, the cottage rests, the sky in its way rests too. This is the part of the night when everything seems to float, when thoughts are no longer sharp edges but soft shapes drifting away, when the body feels heavy and safe, anchored in comfort, when the mind feels light and open, ready to release its last grip on wakefulness. Here in this gentle darkness, the story dissolves into the larger silence. Words grow fewer, pauses grow longer. The mind is invited to step off the paths of thinking and wander into the soft, open fields of sleep. The breeze, tender and kind, keeps its quiet watch. It will be here through all the hours of the night. It will move over the wildflowers, over the cottage roof, over the resting form beneath the quilt. It will cradle every breath, every dream, every moment of deep, unbroken rest. And as it does, the valley will remain calm and safe, holding its sleeper, holding its flowers, holding its soft, secret glow beneath the stars. Rest now as the breeze moves gently over the wildflowers, as the night holds everything in quiet arms. Let the last of your thoughts fall away like petals, one by one, drifting down to the soft earth, where they can simply rest. The meadow is peaceful. The wind is kind. The world is quiet. Good night, dear traveler. Sleep well.